light when you come on in. Let's go ahead and cut right to it. Shout out to the brother Man Down Sports. I saw him talking about this first. If you're not sub to Man Down Sports, definitely go sub to Man Down Sports podcast. Got really dope podcast. Lots of stuff that he talks about, and pretty pretty dope content overall. Salute to the whole entire Lions Den basketball as well as boxing community. We're keeping it hoops right now, and appreciate all of my subs that's been rocking with me. Okay, um, what Man Down was talking about pretty much was what Avery Johnson had to say. Avery Johnson had came on a podcast. He came on Mark Jackson's podcast. And as you know, on Mark Jackson's podcast, he has a lot of featured guests, and some of them definitely give their opinions as to this whole GOAT debate and who's the best, who's second, who's third, who's top five, stuff like that, which rightfully so is going to come up, being that Mark Jackson did play in the league. And he also has a lot of guests who actually would answer in some answers that you wouldn't really quite expect. But Avery Johnson pretty much came and gave his spill on who he thinks is the GOAT. And he basically said MJ is the GOAT, and there is a huge gap between number two. Okay, um, and of course, it had to do. Of course, people are going to talk about different layers. They're going to talk about the numbers, analytics, things of that nature, and stats and stuff like that. What's up with it, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. What's up with it, Marco Hinton? See you in the building, man. Um, but for the most part, he was saying that from an eye test standpoint, you can definitely see that Jordan was the GOAT, especially the things that he brought to the table when you consider him playing both ends of the floor. Now, this is something that I'm adding in a little bit or whatever. I'm not going word for what he said, but when you consider Jordan's tenacity, when you consider him, how he scored and his competitiveness, his will to win and his drive and the things that he was able to accomplish in a short period of time, obviously, a lot of players are going to think that way. Now, Avery Johnson did have his chance to play against MJ. Um, you know, who better than to be in the league and actually go up head to head and face up against him to be able to say that? Listen, man, a lot of people got to understand, man. We're really having a war. You said Jordan did more in less games. Yeah, he did more in less time. Yeah, he absolutely did. And the only other person that I can think that has three-peated and have won more titles consecutively is Bill Russell. Okay, because I think they won from 19. I think it was like 1950 something to about 1966. I think it was 1958 to about 1966. They won 8 consecutive titles. Other than that, it's been Jordan that has three-peated, and he three-peated twice. To me, man, you said I agree. MJ to go, Larry Bird, Magic, Bill Russell, Kareem, and Jabbar. Yeah, listen, man. It doesn't take away from any of the other guys or whatnot, but there again, he said that there is a huge gap between number two. Now, like I said, man, I want people to understand that whoever your GOAT is and whoever you have your top five, top 10, top 20, or whatever, on this channel right here, okay, on my channel, when we talk about straight to the point sports and entertainment, listen, You have the right to choose who you want to. What's up with it, Lemon Pepper Lou? I see you in a bit. The reason why we are having this GOAT war is because LeBron's career is coming to an end. Well, that's partly the reason, but another reason is because, let's just call it what it is, Lou. They are trying to diminish Michael Jordan's legacy, but unfortunately, it's just too strong. It holds too much weight. Listen, even with Kobe too. The reason why, let me, and not to make this about Kobe again, because we are talking about MJ, and not to make it about LeBron. But the reason why it's hard for me to automatically, for LeBron to automatically skip and start talking about, him being in the GOAT debate is because, for one, uh, you Kobe was able to do something that very few, besides the great Michael Jordan, was able to do, and that is to three-peat. Now, did he do it on his own? No, he didn't do it on his own, but he was a part of that team, and he was, a major portion of what took place during that three-peat. Okay, that's what we have to understand. Jordan was able to three-peat, and he did it twice. I mean, that's of course just one key factor if we're going to consider, a guy, being in that upper echelon in terms of, him being the greatest of all time, things of that nature, top five, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now, another thing is, man, is I know that a lot of people say, okay, well, rings don't mean a thing, rings don't mean a thing, and stuff like that. If that's the case, why do people have, Will Chamberlain up there? Why do some people have LeBron up there and all this other case? But to me, uh, rings doesn't fully define your career, but it does in the case if you are going to the finals and you have a finals record that's unblemished, okay, or you have a decent finals record in the case of Kobe, because I think he was 5-2 to my knowledge, okay. I mean, he has a winning record, so it's hard for me to sit up there and pass up a Duncan or pass up a Kareem or pass up some of these other guys who do have five rings. Hold on one second. You can't erase Jordan history. The current players can't. Well, nobody can, but that's what they try to do. But see, I have a healthy. See, the difference between me and a lot of other guys, man, is I have a healthy respect for the players that play now and also the previous generation. That's why on this channel you're gonna hear me go back. If you don't want to talk about, the old school players, you know what I'm saying, going back to Connie Hawkins, going back to David Thompson, going back to Nate Tiny Archibald, going back to Bill Russell, going back to Larry Bird, going back to this person, that person, or whatever. Talking about Isaiah Thomas. If you can't handle me talking about somebody other than what we're talking about now, then that clearly shows to me that you're not really paying attention to the game. That's why, like, I had to get on Anthony Edwards' helmet pause, because the thing about it is that you sitting up in here saying, "Oh yeah, well Michael Jordan was the only skilled player and all this other stuff in the era and stuff like that." Well, that's because, okay, you see the shoes and all this other stuff, but no, there were other players that were skilled too as well. You got to be able to diversify what you're talking about too. You said rings are a big help in a player's career. Yeah, it is. But what also is you going, and there's a lot of other factors. There's clutch gene. There is how well of a leader you were, because leadership is a big role. I mean, let's just call it what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they get mad at me because I have Isaiah Thomas. I got Isaiah Thomas as a starting point guard. You know what I'm saying? I have my reasons for it. You know what I'm saying? I have a reason for me thinking that Isaiah Thomas was a better point guard than Magic Johnson. But I'm certainly not going to diminish Magic Johnson's legacy or anything like that. by saying, "Oh yeah, well I feel this way or I feel that way," about Magic or anything like that, tearing him down. No, I'm not going to do that. But that's what you have people that'll do, for MJ because there's a bias or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You said the old school players are the reason NBA popular right now. The players today are not smart in the clutch. Nah, yeah, a lot of them are smart in the clutch. Now, I'll say this about let's say now that we're talking about Anthony Edwards for a minute, right? Anthony Edwards does play smart in the clutch, but then he'll do some dumb shit. Like you can't disappear in the fourth quarter at really big games, but then again, you make a huge defensive play or a huge defensive stop in some games or hit key shots down the stretch when you know you can do that on a consistent basis. That's why, in order for you to be in the same class as a Kobe, for you to be in the same class as a MJ, for you to be in the same class as some of these other guys, these other champions or whatever, you got to be able to make key plays down the stretch and be consistent with it too. You can't disappear like you were doing and stuff like that. So the thing about it is I take all of that into consideration. Like for instance, Michael Jordan, we all know that '96 he played. He didn't play his best finals and everything like that. But there was some key stops that he made. He did other things, and he did some other stuff that was beneficial for the team to make up for what he didn't do. There was some key passes that he made, some key assists that he did, some key rebounds that he did, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not all about scoring. You said not true, Lemon Pepper. The new school player is the reason it's so popular. Old school player paid the way for the new school. Huh? You said not true, Lemon Pepper. The new school player is the reason the NBA is popular. Old school. Nah, that's not the reason why. If we're gonna go there, I disagree with you, Stephen. Okay, now that's not true. Okay, the new school. Listen, you got to understand. All right, and we all know the saying. We're gonna go through this whole little nursery rhyme again. Okay, or not nursery rhyme, but this whole little spill. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? They made the league. Well, they took the league. And made it popular. And then Michael Jordan, he took it to another level or whatnot. Now, if you want to talk about freedom, a lot more freedom now in this day and age, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. You have a lot more freedom to play with players that you genuinely want to play with, free agency, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know. Stephen Green, man, come on, man. You gotta understand that if who do you have to chase? Who did LeBron James have to chase? He had to chase Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, first he had to chase, Karl Malone and then some of these other guys up that list. You have to chase some of these guys that are on the scoring list. You have to chase some of these guys that are on the assist list. You have to chase all these records and break all these records. You have records that yet to be broken by Wilt Chamberlain. So how are you going to sit up there and say that the old school didn't pave no way for anything? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to say that a guy who can ever get close to scoring 100 points, which is Wilt Chamberlain? So see what I'm saying? They they had to set some sort of tone, some sort of standard and everything. You know what I'm saying? Not that we'll ever see anybody. I don't think we'll ever see nobody in the lifetime score 100 points. But the closest one that came close, I'm talking about in an NBA game, was Kobe Bryant. Okay, and he scored 81 points. But that's neither here nor there. Avery Johnson did have a good point. Avery Johnson kind of makes my point with a lot of stuff, right? See, a lot of y'all want to sit up here, y'all want to name some of these old school players. Oh yeah, I got this guy, I got that guy, and stuff like that. Well, did some of these guys, did you actually watch play, or did you study, or did you actually have a chance to play against these guys? Well, I'm not going to take your argument very seriously if you didn't sit there and study these guys, or you didn't sit there and actually watch games, full games, not just highlights or anything like that. Avery Johnson, I could take him a little bit more seriously because he's a champion. He did play with the Spurs. He's been around the NBA. He's around the NBA. He's a part of the NBA fraternity and everything. And plus, he's been there, uh, you know, on the front line. You know what I'm saying? He's been there, right there, and having to experience that greatness of Michael Jordan. When you play for the Lakers, you are expected to win multiple championships. Yeah, it's either championship or bust. It's either championship or bust. You know, um, but for the most part, hold on one second. For the most part, Avery Johnson feels like a lot of players feel. Now, there is a flip side to the coin, okay? And I know some people gonna get offended. Some people gonna get in their feelings. Hey, I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it has to be put out there. There are a lot of people that don't feel like Michael Jordan is the GOAT, you know? And I have a lot of people, that's in my family, in my circle, that I know personally, they don't have Michael Jordan as the GOAT, okay? So that's why I never get mad or get crazy when they don't have MJ as the GOAT, or they don't got LeBron as the GOAT, or they don't got Kobe as the GOAT, or they don't have Kareem as the GOAT, or nothing like that. Listen, there's some guys that, listen, you'll talk to some of the younger generation, some people got Steph Curry as the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? It ain't changing. You got some people, Wilt, he's the GOAT. You got people, Kareem, he's the GOAT. I done been down this road before. You know what I'm saying? There was a time when they had Dr. J as the GOAT. Some people had Magic. There's some people that think that Magic is the absolute GOAT. I know guys that like the brother, shout out to Pastor Rufus. He said he got his top five from what I know, from what I heard him say one time. He said all of his starting five are Lakers. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop all this. Oh yeah, man, getting all hostile and getting mad at a person because they got this person. And look, if you got LeBron as your GOAT, you know what I'm saying? Listen, some people gonna question you why, but hey, if you got him as your GOAT, you got him as your goddamn GOAT. But don't try to diminish another player just because your GOAT ain't the same as another GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like that silly, stupid stuff that Shannon Sharp. My GOAT would never. Man, your GOAT better. Shoot, you know what I'm saying? You said Magic is the point guard GOAT. Well, I mean, if that's how you feel, I don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? That's not my starting point guard, but to each is their own. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna say, oh, well, man, you got Magic up there. No, I ain't gonna do none of that stuff. That's who you got. You know what I'm saying? You might have Terry Porter there. You might have Rod Strickland there. You might have Pete Maravich there. You might have, the great Jerry West there. You might have, Nate Tiny Archibald there. You know what I'm saying? You might have some other great point guards back there. Bob Cousy, whoever. You know what I'm saying? I can't get mad at that. You saw Magic yesterday? Oh, okay, that's great. Where you see him at? You know what I'm saying? Did you kick it with him? Did you ask him about the football season? Did you ask him what he gonna do with the Commanders? Did you ask him how he felt about Ant-Man? Did you ask him about what he plans to do with the Dodgers too? Are they gonna turn that around too? Yeah, but there ain't no disrespect to Magic. Magic was a bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Magic, some people have Magic as the greatest of all time at one point. Well, you know how I feel about Crybaby Isaiah Tommy. Well, hey, um, I don't. Well, listen, man. The reason why I got my reasons for having Isaiah Thomas now. You see, you got a bias. Your reasons are based off of bias. You know what I'm saying? My reasons are more logical. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at the disadvantages that Isaiah Thomas was faced with. You know what I'm saying? Being able to lead his squad. You haven't had another little man lead they team to a championship, with the exception of Steph Curry, and even he's not. You wouldn't consider him little, because I mean Steph Curry 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", or whatever. Isaiah Thomas was 6 foot. I think you said, Lou, you stood next to him. You said he was about 5'11" or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, it maybe at best it probably would have been, it probably would have been what's it called? AI, had he won the championship. Man, Zeke was that guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna go ahead and go. All y'all sit up here and y'all be like, oh man, Isaiah bad, and the bad boy Pistons and all this other stuff. I want y'all to separate all that stuff, man. The bad stuff that you really heard about the Pistons, which really ain't even all that bad, because if you consider some of the physicality that they were playing with, if you go look at the Celtics, actually, and we could go head for head on this right here. The Celtics played dirtier than the Pistons sometimes, anyways. And I know y'all don't want to hear that, but when you talk about Mikel and some of these guys that were on the Celtics, they played brutal basketball too. New York was playing brutal basketball. Philly was playing brutal basketball. Milwaukee was playing brutal basketball. Everybody was playing brutal basketball. Hell, and I know some of y'all probably don't want to believe this either. Man, the Lakers played brutal basketball. The Blazers played brutal basketball. Oh, you said like 5'9"? He said 5'9". Come on, man, don't do that to him. But, listen, he was faced with disadvantages, okay? He didn't have a team full of guys on there, all of them 6'6" plus. Yeah, think about it. Magic was coming in there with Kareem, 7 foot. Magic had James Worthy, 6'9". Magic had up in there, you know what I'm saying, Hall of Fame guys, you know what I'm saying, with a Hall of Fame, coaching Pat Riley, not taking no dish to Chuck Daly, because he was a Hall of Famer too. Man, only things y'all say about the Pistons is, okay, Joe Dumars at best. I mean, you mentioned Dennis Rodman, but he didn't, like I said, he didn't start coming in. They ain't know Dennis Rodman was going to emerge like that. But you knew James Worthy was going to do what he do. Kareem was already established. Magic had already come in winning championships and stuff like that, because he had a guy in Cap and Kareem who was already well established and already was able to do his damn thing. You know what I'm saying? You said, oh, I miss dirty basketball. I don't want it too dirty. I don't like nobody getting hurt and all that other stuff or whatever, but I like the physicality. Yes, I do. I ain't going to sit up there and lie. Now, the whole Bill Laimbeer bullshit, I don't like that. Rick Mahorn bullshit, I don't like that. You said Chuck Daly and Larry Brown. Yeah, well, see, the thing about it is, what we got to understand, man, is, Larry Brown. Now, you talking about when he was a head coach, when he was a 04 Pistons or whatever, but they ain't have shit on the bad boys, though. They wasn't nothing like them. Matter of fact, they didn't have, no, man, Isaiah Thomas probably could have broke that whole 04 Pistons defense down. And they were pretty good, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion, though. But, he had a lot of advantages. Magic was 6'9". Magic, you know what I'm saying? He had guys, that could really score in that front line. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't taking anything away from some of the guys that he played with, like a Sally, you know what I'm saying? For once upon a time, Adrian Danley, once upon a time, he did have Mark Aguirre, you know what I'm saying? He did have, who else he had? He had James, he had, who else did he have? Vinny, Microwave. I'm going off the top of my head. Damn. Of course, he had Bill Laimbeer. He had a lot of those guys that were there and stuff, but they were just really good role players. Dennis Rodman, guys like that. but they weren't like guys that, oh, you think of just automatic superstars that they jump at you. You gotta realize, okay, yeah, Joe Dumars got Finals MVP, but guess who else got Finals MVP besides Magic, and I think besides Kareem, it was James Worthy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Buddha Edwards. I call him Buddha. Yeah, I already got John Sally. And his team won, matter of fact. Georgia Tech. They came down, they beat Florida. You said Vinny Microwave Johnson like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Hey, but he be killing though. All of them killing. And they talking about these guys wasn't skilled. Michael Aguirre was skilled. They don't talk about him. Vinny Johnson was skilled. Can hit the mid-range anytime you want. Just cooking. That's why the microwave cooking. Instant offense. That's where the microwave come in. Instant. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want some oatmeal on the stovetop, or you want some instant oatmeal. What you want? Some grits on the stovetop, or you want some instant grits? Man, nah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take some instant grits. I want to cook your ass right away. I want some instant popcorn, like Gilbert Arenas say. Yeah, that motherfucker jumping like pop. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas up in there popping. You see how Gil was up in there hitting them with the footwork and all that other stuff. Anthony Edwards, you be capping, man. Sitting up in here, saying that these guys ain't had no skill, man. Gilbert Arenas had that motherfucker popping like popcorn that day. That's how you supposed to do your defender, just having them popping everywhere, making them dance and jump. You see how Jordan, Kobe, all that footwork, all that movement, you know what I'm saying, as guards, you know what I'm saying, utilizing the post move. You see how Hakeem Olajuwon had that motherfucker David Robinson going here, there, everywhere, didn't know where he was going. You see how AI had Jordan going like, side to side, couldn't go nowhere. Man, them motherfuckers had skill. Y'all been here talking about, oh, yeah, ain't nobody had no skill. You know what I'm saying? Even Kevin McHale, man, doing the up and under. You know what I'm saying? Post moves, really simple post move. Tim Duncan had simple post move. Rasheed Wallace with the turnaround. You know what I'm saying? Georgia Tech, my Louisville Cardinals will take care of them. Shoot, man. We got to see what happens, man. Do y'all play this week? I think y'all do play this weekend. They're going to college football. Hey, don't worry about it. We're going to talk about college football. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about Georgia Clemson. We're going to talk about LSU and USC. You know what I'm saying? We going to talk about it. Robert Parrish, man, even though he's a little slow and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Robert Parrish still was a beast. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, got to roll out Rolando Blackman. Yeah. I like Rolando Blackman. You know what I'm saying? He was all right. Him and Derek Harper. And RIP to Roy Tarpley, friend of the family and everything. But man, listen, man, got to go ahead and get out. I could do what Jordan and Akeem on the basketball. I can do what you said you can do what they did on the court. Well, first off, we got to see if genetics playing your factor. Because all of those guys are over 6'6". Both of those guys were over 6'6". Hakeem Olajuwon 6'11", 7 foot. Jordan 6'5", 6'6". You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, man. Clyde was in the dunk contest. You know what I'm saying? Clyde could jump from the free throw line too. But yeah, I got to get up out of here, y'all. Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. I get at you later.